Hi, my name is Bailey Morgan, and I'm currently sitting in my closet to record my podcast. I would also like to apologize in advance if I slur or mumble my words. It is a bad habit of mine, but I'm going to do my best to punctuate everything correctly for you guys. So before I actually get this started, let me just say there's a very slim chance of me making a career out of this. Freshman year, I did my project on running and the different organizations people around the world have made to spread awareness about things like heart diseases and Paralympians. It is still shocking to me and the family around me that I love something that used to be considered a punishment that any coach would use to get their players to do something right and be disciplined. But for us, our coaches can't really discipline us by telling us to run a lap because that's nothing. For us, it's more push-ups because we have no upper body strength. Since I started high school and joined the cross-country team, I realized that I could be really good at running if I applied myself. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, my season was put to an end very fast with me ending up with bilateral stress fractures on both of my shins. For those of you who don't know what those are, I hope you guys never have to go through that. Mine were so severe that surgery was an option for me. I was so devastated, I asked myself over and over again, why me? How did this even happen? I was doing so good, and then it was like, boom, once my MRI scans came, it was over. For over a month, I had a limp in my walk, and I always had people telling me I looked like I was in pain, and of course, I was. Both mentally and physically, having to be taken out of the season, and that varsity spot my coaches kept telling me about, all taken from me. January came around, and it was soccer season, and I was able to play, which later that rolled into track season, and I was all good to go. I came in strong and dedicated to show the coaches what I had in store, although I did have the setback of not having the cross-country season in my background to help me with the track season ahead. Luckily, I had a comeback during track season with getting the freshman record for the 800, which was a big deal to me and my coaches considering everything I had been through, and also the fact that the 800, a lot would say, is the hardest event because you are basically sprinting 2 whole laps. Many who don't know anything about cross-country and track always try to argue and debate with me that they're the same, but they're just making themselves sound so dumb, and most of the time, it's the football players on third string. Like, seriously, guys, let's be real now. As for me, I especially know the differences between cross-country and track, and it's not only the distances. It is the environment and the people you're surrounded by constantly. But I personally like the vibes and energy from the track people and the way your teammates and people in the crowd support everyone running on the track. They're cool, laid back, but also love and scream and dance. They're competitive, but very supportive. The cross-country people, on the other hand now, I love them just as much, but they're their own kind of weird and wild. I'm not saying I'm not like them, but sometimes I yell at them. I'm like, well, you're the cross-country guys. You guys are weird. They never take offense to it, though, because they know it's true, and it doesn't help the fact that they all hang out in one group all the time. But all around, I love each and every one of my track and cross-country friends. What I want to say out of this whole podcast is that to some, running is hell. But to me, at this moment in my life, it's what I live for. Running doesn't only keep me in shape and bring me closer with the team, but it's my therapy. It helps me blow off steam when I'm mad and get my head straight. It's honestly one of the only things I've ever found that I can just clear my mind to completely. I also love the rush of adrenaline the meets bring me when the gun goes off and you can hear your teammates cheering for you over the sound of heavy breathing and footsteps. All around, it makes me feel good to be able to get done with a 6-mile run or mile repeats. I used to complain all the time, and I still do because I don't think I'm capable of certain things or distances. It wasn't until my track coach decided to coach the girls for the cross-country season and came to summer camp with us, which I'm so thankful for, and I want to give her, Coach Moya, a small shout-out for. What I want to say out of this whole podcast is that to some, running is hell. But to me, at this moment in my life, it's what I live for. Running doesn't only keep me in shape and bring me closer with my teammates, but it's my therapy. It helps me blow off steam when I'm mad and helps me get my head straight. It's honestly one of the only things I've ever found that I can just completely clear my mind to. I also love the rush of adrenaline the meets bring me when the gun goes off and you can hear your teammates cheering for you over the sound of heavy breathing and footsteps. All around, it makes me feel good being able to get done with a 6-mile run or mile repeats. I used to complain all the time, and I still do, because I didn't think I was capable of certain things or the distances. It wasn't until my track coach decided to coach the girls for this past cross-country season, and she came to summer camp with us, which I'm so thankful for, and I want to give her, Coach Moya, a small shout-out for her. She opened my mind so much and helped me become a better runner. She would run with us, and usually she'd be with me or always in seeing distance, and would always tell me to push myself if she saw I was slacking off. Summer camp was the first place I realized the things I was capable of when I was able to accomplish these difficult trail runs up in the mountains when we weren't used to the elevation or the hills. It helped me come to realization that I could come to Saturday practices where they ran 8 miles because I accomplished that up at camp. Although I can't tell if I didn't think I could do it or if it was me saying that I wanted a life played a role in it, because I said it to my coaches while at camp because they asked me how come I never went. Then they really got on top of me about that, but explained to me that I'm done with my practice by the time any of my friends wake up, which is so true. But welcome to the grind, am I right? What I'm trying to communicate here is if you really want to be good at something, you have to put your mind to it and don't stop. If you do stop, it's because you're preconditioned to stay within your boundaries. You need to get out of those boundaries. If you don't, you're not going to improve. I always try to remember that if I'm uncomfortable in a race, that means the girl next to me is too. So it all boils down to who wants it more. Remember, the pain is always temporary, but quitting is forever. I spend a lot of time sitting on my phone and I'm watching track and cross-country meet highlights through Mile Split and Flow Track, which are big deal, I would say, live broadcasts, which posts all the highlights, epic fails, and iconic fan support. But what I have communicated to you about running is that it's not only a hobby or a sport. It's a form of therapy, and it's its own community that when one says something, they can basically say for all of their running community. We all come together as one family who loves and supports each other no matter the shape, size, or speed, because in the end, we're all trying to win for each other and our team. Hopefully through my stories and experience, it shows that things don't always come easily to people, and we have to apply ourselves for what we really want, and it's going to take a lot of work. I wouldn't say I learned a lot by doing this project because it's just me telling my stories and experiences, but my family probably thinks I'm crazy at this point for sitting in my closet for about 2 hours doing all these drafts, and I've probably screamed about a dozen times. But this is my sophomore project.